for Eastern wisdom, we have to think too much. We have to think too much. We have to think to that extent where the mind says, I am not thinking.
Okay.
When the mind says, enough is enough. But when the mind can say, enough is enough, only when there is no fear, when there is no suffering, when there is no delusion.
Okay.
Satsangatve nisasangatvam, nisasangatve nirmohatvam, nirmohatve nischaltatvam, nischaltatve jivan. So in the first step, the master says satsang, listening and learning from a teacher. But what the teacher teaches, that is already present in the knowledge of the Eastern wisdom. So by listening and learning, the mind start receiving the knowledge. It holds on to that knowledge. The moment you hold on to that knowledge, result is detachment. And when you continue to listen and contemplate, followed by the practice, nisasangatve nirmohatvam. So what happens? Because you have left the attachment, the delusion is gone. Now what has to happen? It will happen. You have a house in France, you have planned to sell it, it will be sold sooner or later. So it's the process, it's a procedure. Whether it's a process in France, whether you have a process you have to follow here in this country, ultimately it will be sold. Why to what? Follow all the steps. We do not walk on our hands. We know, we are very clear, we walk on our feet. And when the feet is good, keep the feet okay and walk. You see, so by understanding, we get rid of this kind of delusion. So once the delusion is gone from the mind, nirmohatve nishchal tattvam. So then this mind naturally becomes steady. Natural steadiness, because now delusion is not there. Clarity is there. Do you know your house? Yes, you know it. Do you know your gender? Yes. Do you know your name? Yes. Where is the delusion? Why the mind has to think? Very clear. Then what happens when the mind naturally becomes steady? Then what? Then you simply close your eyes wherever you are always in meditation, mindfulness. Now the same mind does not complain that you have lot of challenges. It doesn't complain. So when it does not complain, mind is free. So that free mind reflects our real self, that is permanent peace and happiness, love and wisdom. This is in a very simple. We should also be very clear in our head that Eastern wisdom is an instrument of knowledge that helps me to know what is behind the mind. Science gives us a knowledge. Science is also an instrument of knowledge. That gives me knowledge what is in front of the mind. What is matter? Physics. What is cell? Biology. What are the stars? Astronomy. What is inside the earth? Geology. In front of the mind, by which I can see, feel through the sense organs. I have five. We all have five instruments, five gateways of knowledge: eyes, ears, taste, sight, sound. Science gives us a knowledge what is in front of them. So we have to take our eyes to the stars by telescope. We have to see the subtle cells by microscope. But now, Eastern wisdom says, step back. The world is outside, step back. We come to the sense organs, step back, come to the mind, step back, go to the real self. It is as easy. But the mind is obsessed with going out. It has an obsession. It picks up a thought and it relates that thought with the world outside, and then it says, I am suffering. So you see the difference. We both are the instrument of knowledge. One instrument of knowledge works in front. Other instrument of knowledge helps us to know what is behind the mind. So we should always ask, are we three in one, or one seems three? If you are sleeping, Jack says, no, my mom is sleeping. If you are awake, your mom says, oh, my mom is waker. And if you start chattering while lying on the bed, Jack says, my mom is dreaming. So these are the three states. So are we three in one, or only one that seems three? Everyone is a waker, everyone is a dreamer, everyone is everyone. I have seen on movies even the dog dreams. Cat dreams.
Right.
So we are three in one, or we are only one. It appears three. Are you Anne? Yes. Are you mom? Yes. Are you mother-in-law? Yes. So these three appears, three roles. Outside, internally, you are only one. It is a fact. We are only one. Our master says we are only one. That is real self. That is pure consciousness. Seems we appear three. in 24 hours. We appear as a waker, we play our role as a waker, we play our role as a dreamer, we play our role as. This knowledge demands the mind should step back, should not move forward. If it moves forward, then it will explore what is sleep, what happens in sleep, physiological, biochemical changes. We are not interested in that. We want to know, who am I? And a simple knowledge helps us to know that we are behind waker, sleeper, dreamer. We are pure consciousness because I am present in sleep, I am present in dream, I am present in waking. It is a fact. To tell you, this master seems to me the crazy genius. He lived almost, I would say, 1600 years ago. He lived in poverty. Then he did meditation. He reached to the highest state. He became a minister in the kingdom of in South India. And he wrote more than 200 books, more than 10,000 pages. Can you think in 15th century, no electricity, 20,000 pages. And he left every aspect that may seem to people as religious, as called dogma. He said, understand it. Use your intellect, understand this journey. 15th or 16th century. There was no electricity, there was no light to write. Here we have our young kids, they complain there is no light, there is no computer, how can I study? Can you think of his genius? So in his text, he is explaining, can you become aware that you are present in the waking state but different from the waking? You are present in dream state but different and separate from the dream. That is why we enter into sleep and we again become awakened. If I'm a dreamer, then I will remain as a dreamer. If I'm a sleeper, then I will remain as a sleeper. If I remain a waker, then there is no problem of dreaming and sleeping. But it is not fact. Can you check and see and imagine his level of awareness? That he could see and present it to us, that he said, become aware of you are different from waker, dreamer, and sleeper because they are continuously every day happening, and it has been happening since our birth until we die. Waker changes, dream changes, sleep also changes. We remain the same over these years. You remain Anne as Anne, I remain as Girish. Do you see the common? We remain as it is. That we, according to the journey or the Eastern wisdom, that we, that you, that I is real self. It never changes. It remains the same. Think of this. Think of when you contemplate, oh, now you bought a new sofa, that's good. So you lie down in that sofa in a lazy way and start thinking, am I different from waking, sleep, and dream? You will find out yes. And the moment your mind says yes, you are already there. You are there in the meditation. The inner voice says, yes, I am aware, I'm different from. You are there. So we started the topic, am I three in one or only one appears as three? And what is changing cannot be me. Waker, sleep, dream, waker, sleeper, dreamer, waker, sleeper, dreamer, days, weeks, months, years. They are constantly changing, and there is something in the center on which these three states are, is what we are. Today you slept for 6 hours, yesterday 8 hours, day before maybe 5 hours. For about a week, you add all the sleeping hours. Are you a sleeper? No. I'm a waker too, so add all the hours of the waking. Am I a waker? No. I also sleep. It is only, Master says, contemplation means that you learn the principles and then sit on a lazy sofa. Make the body lazy. Internally, you are alert and start contemplating and reflecting. So, while reflecting, there comes a clarity that I am is separate and different from these three mental states of waking, sleeping, and dreaming. Once the mind is settled there, I see I'm the real self. We suffer in a waking state. Nothing happens in deep and sound sleep. We return again into the waking state to continue suffering because of the mind. In the deep sleep, there is no mind. See that? What is this puzzle? What is this puzzle of life? When I say the dream is one part, the sleep is one part, but still I see that in deep sleep there is no suffering. In dream state, I create another body. One, I am aware one body is lying on in the dream state. I know I'm dreaming because my body is keep lying and the other body is created.
But you can be suffering in dreaming.
Yes, you can be suffering. You can be suffering, and you can become the president of United States.
That's right.
So both are possible. So question is, which one is true? Is the dream true? Is the sleep true? Is the waking state true? Master says none of these three states are true because they are mental states on which these three states depends, revolves around in a cycle of dream waking. Is me, is I am, That I am is pure consciousness. And that pure consciousness, to be aware of that, to know that, to experience that, is to realize the self. So here the master puts one simple normal condition. He says, to discover that reality, we need a mental maturity. We don't need a mental maturity with higher IQ to get into the MIT, then going into the Google and earning $200,000. But with $200,000, you cannot maintain, even you cannot rent a house. So you hire the RV, earning $200,000, living in the RV. And if you put lot of pressure on your IQ, what happens? You resort to the drugs. Because the drug keeps you awake, you have to meet the target. And then what happens? The time comes, now you cannot work, you are out of the job, and you become a beggar in California. That is the picture I saw in a Discovery movie. We don't need higher IQ, we need a common sense approach. That is what I say. We need only a common sense approach. Common sense approach means that I think and reflect what is changing is not me, and what is not changing, that is me. That is a common sense approach and a mental. Simple. You ask a young guy, is space, are you aware of the space? Are you aware of the sun? What is changing? Everything in front of my mind is constantly changing. And is the mind changing? Yes. Is the body changing? Yes. Is the intellect changing? Yes. Is the ego changing? Yes. And we have already understood the waking, sleep, and the dream state also continuously changing. There has to be a center on which this change taking place. And that center is the real self. Well, I'll pick up one more point. When I'm a waker, then I identify myself. I am the body, mind, memory, intellect, and ego. You see the delusion? When I'm a dreamer, I'm not the body, but I'm the mind and the memory. Oh, okay. And when I'm in deep sleep, I'm neither the body nor the mind. So, with that mental maturity, we ask this mind, who the hell I am? Mind, why you are changing your position? It is the mind that changes the position. Mind says, I am the body, mind, intellect, ego in a waking state. Then in the dreaming state, it says, I'm not the body, but I'm the mind and the memory. And then in the sleep state, mind says, I'm not the body and the mind because I'm not thinking at all. I don't recognize any thought. Who the hell I am? Master says, I am the real self. The discovery of that real self is the goal of mindfulness and meditation. Let us start our practice now.